So I needed to make another video that I thought can be very helpful to whoever it is that can be helpful for. Specific subject is going to be for Rochelle. This is really some disturbing information. Okay, so I say this because, I don't ever have anything to hide. So, I'm going to say anything I don't have to hide, but I don't have any wrong intentions as I feel. And I think it's important to talk about because I was in Alaska and I was watching television in the living room at Hiro's house, and I thought, and there was something that just came on. I know Muhammad Ali died when I was in Alaska because I remember his funeral process was on TV, and I remember that. Will Smith attended it. I think obviously a few celebrities, and they had the whole burial process. It was very big funeral. Obviously, it's Muhammad Ali, but in this particular subject, that wasn't really what I was. But I know that happened in Alaska, but I happened to be watching TV some around the time that I lived there for 3 months in this house, and there was a woman. There was a blonde woman, and I saw it, and she goes, and she looks like at the camera, and she goes, "Now he's going to find out what's going to happen to him." And she said it in a way that someone had done something really bad, and there's a male that did some real horrible shit. And it was somebody that did. It was a parasite. There was a parasite, very dark parasite in this picture. We don't know who it is. The professionals don't. I don't know, but there was a very bad person. And I didn't even think of it. And for some reason, I don't know why I'm getting this image or this person's, and it wasn't directed at me. I knew that it wasn't, but it was something that had to do maybe with some. I felt like maybe it had to do something with the distance of something that I was around at some point, or someone of the people that I knew that it happened to. And and I was thinking just now I was thinking this the last couple of days, but Ricky had said something to me. I spoke to him over the phone a couple of days ago, and I thought to myself, it seemed to be more evident. But right before he was telling me this, I was sort of building up this sort of conclusion, hypothesis, more like a hypothesis of what I think this outcome is supposed to be or what had happened. But I don't know if this is true. Could be totally wrong, But I'm going to lean this toward around the 60% ratio, or 60%-ish, that I would say it did happen. And 60 to 65, yeah, to probably feel comfortable. And I could be very wrong, so for those that know, then they're going to know. But when me and Richard used to pick up Rochelle when I was in high school. I was 15, 16 years old. And Rochelle didn't move in until I was 17. So Rochelle used to live with Megan, this tall blonde girl. And I know that Richard Murphy, because he was dating Rochelle at the time for at least a year, he said something like Rochelle had said that this girl she was sleeping with a lot of guys, or like she was having a lot of sex, like she was having guys come over, and Richard, I think, had been inside the house before. I never did, but Ida would be sitting in the back seat. I'd jump in the back seat, and his girlfriend was, would get into the car and we'd drive off. But we'd always wait for like 5 minutes over at Rochelle's house where she was living, and it was a very nice neighborhood. I remember that it was kind of close, where it kind of seemed, and I don't know if it was on, I don't remember where it was, but I was thinking it was close to Mara's house, over near where Jeremy Dalton Smith used to live. It was somewhere within a mile or two from there. But anyway, it was a long time ago, I don't remember. and Megan invited somehow, Raquel into the house. I don't know what happened. She started living there, and when that happened, this is a white family, and I know that we drove there, I don't know, several months, picking her up, and like a couple of days out of the week, I don't know for what reason. I don't remember if it was like, then he'd take her to work, or he would take her to his house, or whatever it was. But it was usually always after school. It was like a little bit right after school, and Raquel complained that they were getting her to do chores a lot and do all the dishwashing and doing like the chores they didn't want to do. But she had to pay rent there, but it was a very Christian family, so Richard always explained that they were very Christian, like they were very, they're Christians, and they had whatever it was, I don't know, but it was obviously oriented with Jesus. And I remember Raquel, when she would get into the car, she was kind of like in a hurry, or kind of like, let's get the hell out of here. Let's get the hell out of this place. And I remember there was a conversation. I was sitting in the back seat, and I could see the side of Raquel's face, and I was in the back seat, and she was kind of like, she had some overalls, white overalls on, and she had her hair that she was kind of like, I don't know if she was tying it up or something, or doing something. But when she was expressing, she goes, "Yeah, let's get out of here. I don't." And she goes like this, and she's looking at the house like there's something bad or disgusting there, or like an expression on her face that would indicate that. Especially now that I look at it, I knew that it happened then, because I was thinking, because she gave an expression like, let's get out of here, like, and you're living in somebody else's house, and it's a white, all nice neighborhood. What I do know is, what I think is, I don't know, and I was thinking, Raquel could have been being raped or molested in that house by somebody, and that's why she wanted to leave. I think that's a possibility. I think there's a possibility that there was somebody in that house that was raping her. Because the way that she kind of expressed her face, because the way that she expressed herself whenever she had, I don't know if she slept with John or not, she really didn't know John well enough to ever think to myself, for any reason, like for her to give that kind of expression. And I knew she didn't care that I had other friends over, because Michael came over, she really didn't care, Nick or whoever it was. But for some reason, and this is why I get sort of that hunch, but I think it's a possibility that somebody was maybe raping her or molested her. She didn't say anything, because when she sort of looked, she was like, just get out of here. And she was like, sort of gave that expression. And so, like I said, I don't know how secretive some young girls can be when something like that is happening, because they're trying to survive, and you come from a very broken home, and she was sleeping on the floor, and the other girl was sleeping on this huge bed, the fancy bed. But I thought it was important for me to talk about, because I don't know anything about this. I don't know of anything, but if something like that was happening, it's something that I don't know about that could have been happening to Raquel. So I thought it was important, because I was thinking of this also, and I'm going to talk about some other really sensitive information about the hostage situation that was held at my house when my mom put up to it with a knife by one of her relatives. But I was thinking, I was like, maybe somebody was raping her or molested, but I don't want to jump into conclusions. I'm not going to go into conclusions, but I figured I would at least make a video of it. She never told me anything. She never said. Megan never called the house ever. they didn't continue their friendship, to my understanding, because when she left that house, I don't remember where she went. I don't know if she went from there to my house. She could have. I don't think she did. I think she moved. I don't think she did. I think she was moving somewhere else. But her and her friend Megan didn't continue the relationship. And the weird, crazy thing is that I met Megan at a party once, and she was into black guy. I think it was her. I'm positive. I almost think it was her. I went there with Will. There's a little short guy. I think he was a Marine. Or he's a Marine, but I think it was, yeah, I went with him in his little black pickup truck, and I went with like Chris and like I don't know who it was. We stopped by an apartment to go to this party, and we saw Noah, this black guy, Noah Hutcherson, and he used to go to Good Elementary, but I hadn't heard from this guy in a long time. I really wasn't good friends with him. Daniel Box knew him very well. He was a super athlete, football in elementary. And Tiffany Hutchison was another black girl that I knew that was his sister that was in the same grade, in 5th and 6th grade. Anyway, so I recall, I recall that, that I saw him there, and there was these other like two guys that were playing cards, and they were like, they were very old, talking like teenagers. Like, it was weird. Like, they looked extremely mature. We show up there, and there was 2 white girls, and there was one giving Noah a lap dance, and there was this girl that I didn't know was a girl in there until she kind of opened the door, and then some girl kind of ran out and says, "You're disgusting," or said something like that, and it looked like Megan. It was Megan. I'm almost positive it was her, and she was just kind of like doing this whole like sexy thing, kind of dangling herself by the door, like giving sort of this porno look and sex position, and standing up. And she looked at the girl saying that, not even giving a shit. And there really wasn't loud music playing. There was probably a total of maybe 10 people in the house. And I don't know what other guys were in there, but there was like 2 other black guys, and I think they were possibly on the verge of having an orgy. And me and Will were like out on the living room, and they had like a little radio playing, and because we were looking for a party to go to, and it really wasn't a party; it was just a bunch of people there. And what happened was that. I'm almost positive it was her, it was Megan, and I think I've seen her high school picture before, and I think it was her. And because I had only seen Megan, I think only a few times. I don't even think I ever saw her come out of the house once. The parents, we just got there, stayed there for 5-10 minutes, and Raquel walked out, and we drove off in high school. But it was before Raquel moved in, and it was. I had only seen Megan maybe once or twice walking with Raquel, maybe if that. I don't think I've ever seen that. Maybe once, but there's so many kids, and went to a school with 2,000 students. So, to my understanding, I think she was into black guys, and I don't know what that circumstance was. So, what I do know is Richard told me that Raquel told her that she was like screaming, just, moaning from sex, that somebody was screwing hell out of her or something like that. And it was just very common for Richard to always say, "Yeah, she's a whore. Yeah, she's," that type of conversation in high school. But I didn't really know these people. There were rich white girls, and there really wasn't any rich white girls that I was allowed or even knew to be around with in high school. A lot of the white guys knew that, they always had this vengeful way of trying to protect the white women. Unless you had a high level of credibility or something, they didn't want you in their circle. And little know that they know I was a DJ, or at the time, which is a cool thing to do when you're young. It gives you a lot of credit as a person, especially as a teenager, and confidence. you know, you had a lot of money and drove a nice car, or you were some sort of just popular kid. But I didn't really care for the popular kids at school. I didn't give a shit for any of it at all. And I just did my own thing. I didn't care who or what. It's just basically how many number of people I knew navigated through life. But I thought it was important for me to talk about because if Rochelle was being molested and raped there and nobody knew about it, maybe that had something to do with it. You know, where somebody was doing something and got away with it. Because I remember her like putting her hair up like this and like, come on, let's go, let's get out of here. Like she was just like kind of like wanted to leave. So thought I'd make a video on that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the situation. So if I find out some information or clues or anything, or whatever, I'll make a video wherever it's gonna help.